Good morning. We are ready to start this morning's press briefing for the Unemployment Insurance Claims Report for July 12th through 18th. I will welcome Kevin Burt up here. He is our Unemployment Insurance Division Director, and he will cover the numbers as well as discuss the ending of the $600 stimulus program. Thanks.
Good morning. We're going to go ahead and go over, as Brooke mentioned, the unemployment claims data for the week ending of July 18th. Now, there is a lot of information here, kind of a mash of information. So we're going to focus on some of it, but I do want to move pretty quickly to the $600 stimulus and how that is going to change for the tens of thousands of people that are on the benefit. But to start off, for the week ending July 18th, we received 7,067 unemployment claims that week and had 88,134 continued claims. So remember, 7,000 is the initial new claims for unemployment insurance. That, for historical perspectives, at the peak of this pandemic, we received about 33,000 applications in a single week. So that is down significantly. It is certainly higher than it was pre-pandemic. In 2019, we averaged about 1,100 claims. So it is still significantly higher than the number of claims we took last year at historic lows. The 88,134 continued claims, that is an individual requesting or continuing to need the unemployment benefit. Unemployment is a week-to-week program, so an individual has to apply every week, attesting to their situation if they remain unemployed or reporting any wages that they have earned or if they refused any work. That 88,000 is, again, down from the peak. At the peak of this pandemic, we had 126,000 continued claims. And to be somewhat promising, that continued claims has gone down for now 11 consecutive weeks. As individuals, as the economy begins to resume and begins to open, individuals who were using the unemployment benefits are able to now return to employment and fall off those benefits as they are now employed. So just to go over a few of the individual programs, starting kind of on the table on the west wing, the week ending 7/18, the traditional unemployment benefits, meaning just your state unemployment benefits. Last week we took 4,514 unemployment claims. That is down nearly 7% from last week, and that is the lowest number of new claims that we have taken since the start of this pandemic in early March. Again, higher than the normal 1,100 claims that we took a week in 2019, but it is promising to see that number is at the lowest we've seen in this pandemic, and what we hope is that number will continue to go down. The Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program is a federally funded program for those that are self-employed or gig workers. That number of new claims kind of stayed the same. And that has been kind of the history over the last several weeks. It's been about the same at 1,492 new claims for the self-employed and gig workers. And then the final one is the Pandemic Extended Unemployment Compensation. That is also a CARES Act federally funded program that allows individuals who are on a state benefit that exhaust that benefit, because the max number of weeks a person can receive a state benefit is 26 weeks. Once that is exhausted, so once they've hit their max number of weeks, they will transition without application to an extended unemployment benefit that is fully federally funded for up to 13 weeks. That number, you can see, actually went up by about 7.711%, and that is expected. We are nearly 4 months since the start of this pandemic. There were individuals who were unemployed prior to the pandemic, and so we're starting to see individuals who were on unemployment benefits have exhausted those weeks and are transitioning into the extended unemployment benefits as they have yet to return to work or have yet to find work. And so we do expect that number to go up as the continued claims and the new claims go down. The extended might be one that we actually see continuing to go up. And with that, I'm going to do a little bit of a leaping lion and just jump right to the $600 a week federal stimulus benefit. And it's really important to understand this because it is going to impact tens of thousands of people. Friends and family, tens of thousands of people are currently receiving the $600 a week stimulus. And I think some of the concerns we have is that individuals who are new to unemployment have experienced unemployment only with that $600 stimulus, but that $600 stimulus is set to expire on Saturday. So let me kind of walk through unemployment insurance and how it has worked historically and how the $600 stimulus came into effect. Unemployment insurance is a tax paid by employers. Employers every quarter report those wages that they pay to their employees, and then they pay a tax. That tax is deposited into a trust fund, and that is used exclusively to pay out benefits to individuals who are unemployed through no fault of their own. It is an insurance program to help individuals, again, who are unemployed through no fault of their own and paid for by employers who have to experience layoffs or furloughs. And so employers pay that tax and the claimants receive that benefit. However, it has never been intended to be long-term, as it is time-limited, and it has never been intended to be a replacement wage to the wages lost. Unemployment benefits has actually always been about a 40% replacement wage and continues to be. So when a person applies, we look at the wages over the last year and determine how much they are eligible for based on those reported wages. And then an individual receives about 40% of those lost wages in benefits to provide some economic stability, but not to replace employment. To encourage individuals to re-engage in the workforce, it has never been intended to be a full replacement wage. Now, with this pandemic, there was a stay home, stay safe. And there was industries or businesses that had to close to be able to meet the requirements of the stay home and stay safe. So the CARES Act was passed federally to provide, to help compensate what unemployment was never intended to do. Meaning if individuals were furloughed and required to stay home and stay safe, and they only received a 40% replacement wage, they could not stay home and stay safe. Because in the end, what would happen is the unemployment would not sustain them. And so what the CARES Act did is introduced a $600 a week stimulus benefit to be added to the state calculation of the unemployment benefit. And in many instances, this $600 a week stimulus resulted in individuals in Utah that were unemployed receiving a full replacement wage to be able to support them staying home and staying safe, and also be able to support the businesses as they adjusted to the new normal, where they could meet the new demands and the new requirements and the new necessary steps to take to create a safe environment, not only for their employees, but for the consumers, so that the economic activity could resume. And so they were able to retain their talented employees as their employees were covered by unemployment benefits. And as they've opened, they've been able to bring those employees back, and unemployment served its purpose. So what happens on July 25th is unemployment insurance will resume. It continues as it always has, but the $600 a week stimulus expires. Now, when will that expire? In unemployment, any individual that applies for unemployment benefits after July 25th will not be eligible for any weeks of the $600 stimulus. Now, keep in mind that if you applied today, it's possible if you were determined eligible this week that you would receive 1 week of the $600 stimulus, but it's not grandfathered in. After that, it will return to that 40% replacement wage. So it's not anyone that applied before July 25th would continue to get it. It expires for everyone on July 25th. Now, in Utah, what happens is the continued claim or the ongoing claim, where an individual that is receiving unemployment, every Sunday they get an they are required, if they still need a benefit, to file a weekly claim reporting what happened last week. And so next week, when a person files a continued claim, they are reporting the employment and wages earned this week. So there will be one more week, next week, of individuals who are on the continued claim receiving that $600 a week stimulus benefit. But then after that, after August 1st, all programs will lose that $600 a week stimulus. Remember, that is for those that are on the state unemployment benefit. That is for those that are on the pandemic unemployment assistance, which is the self-employed income, self-employed and gig worker unemployment insurance, and also for the pandemic extended or the 13-week extension. Now, it's important to know, I see often it quoted that unemployment expires. Unemployment is a survivor. The benefit will still exist for the state benefit, for the self-employed gig workers in the pandemic, and the 13-week extension. Those programs continue, but they will all return to about a 40% replacement wage of the wages lost due to this pandemic. So again, it's important to understand that it's individuals who can continue to receive the unemployment benefit, but that $600 a week federally funded stimulus benefit expires on July 25th. And with that, I'll go ahead and take any questions. Okay. And so the question is, again, about the $600 stimulus, and is there any movement to extend that $600 stimulus? And I'm actually glad, and I'm okay being a keen Christian and talking about it again. On July 25th, which is Saturday, that $600 a week federally funded stimulus benefit expires. Anyone that applies for unemployment benefits across any of the unemployment programs will not be eligible for the $600 stimulus after July 25th. And if they apply before, the last week they would receive it is this week. For those that are already on the unemployment assistance, the last week they will receive that $600 a week is when they file a continued claim next week, reporting their employment situation for this week. They can receive one more week of that $600 a week stimulus. Now the question is there any progress being made to extend that $600 unemployment benefit? And it's important to understand that this is not a state benefit. The state unemployment benefit will resume and continues to be available for those that are unemployed. The $600 a week was a temporary, fully federally funded benefit from the CARES Act, and that is expiring. And so there is discussion at a congressional level of what to do moving forward, but on a state level, there is no discussion about increasing the state unemployment benefit. Now, federally, the discussion is it still needed and how much? But there's clear disagreement about what the future of the $600 a week stimulus should be. So what we are trying to communicate is that $600, Saturday is a few days away. Right now is certainly going to expire, and it's going to impact tens of thousands of people. Now, why does that matter? Is there are 89,000 people, or 88,000 people that are filing a continued claim. They are all going to return to about a 40% replacement wage. And what that is going to do is it's really going to have individuals who believed or hoped they would return with their employer. They're going to now have to look for employment outside of what maybe they have worked in before. Now, the promising thing is that in Utah, the unemployment rate right now is 5.1%. On jobs.utah.gov, we have over 25,000 jobs that are posted where employers are looking for employees, talented employees like the individuals receiving unemployment benefits. But what might have to happen is individuals that are used to working in this industry that has been severely impacted by this pandemic and has not seen the economic activity return, has not been able to open, or consumers are not comfortable returning, they're going to have to start looking at other opportunities in other industries that have been able to continue to see economic activity, that have perhaps even seen economic activity grow as a result of this pandemic. So even if it's temporary, unemployment is not going to be sustainable anymore for individuals. Employment will be. And again, the promising sign is there are over 25,000 jobs. And I did fail to mention that we actually have a virtual job fair on July 30th. So the Department of Workforce Services has also responded to this pandemic, trying to figure out a way to continue to connect people who need jobs to employers that need workers. And we've done so successfully now with the last 2 virtual job fairs, and we're doing another one on July 30th. It is free to the public. And so please go to jobs.utah.gov and sign up to participate in the virtual job fair. The last job fair had nearly 70 employers that were hiring across many industries with over 11,000 job opportunities. So please take a look at that. And also, it is different looking for work or connecting with an employer virtually. So jobs.utah.gov also has the day before an optional workshop to help you learn how to engage and how to stand out in a virtual environment with employers. So that employment is there. It just may not be in the industries that some people who continue to be impacted by this pandemic are used to working in. But that unemployment benefit provided its stability, but now that stability will only be found in employment. Okay, so the question is, if Congress does extend or in some form introduce a new stimulus benefit to those that continue on unemployment, will there be a lapse in individuals receiving that unemployment benefit? And I think the answer is going to be yes. Remember, when Congress passes a bill, what has to happen is it has to pass and be signed into law. Then it is given to the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor has to interpret that law and then provide guidance to the states, as well as set up the funding mechanism to pay for that. And that can take several weeks. So it does appear that it's going to be a few weeks before a law is even passed, if it's passed, and then it will be another couple weeks after that to come from passed to actually deployed or made available to the public. We experienced this at the beginning of the pandemic when the new programs were stood up. There was a lag between when it was announced to when it became available. Utah, because of the hard work of the great staff in the Unemployment Insurance Division, as well as our partners in the Workforce Development Division, we created those programs, one of the first to the market for Utahns. So we will absolutely be dedicated to provide that benefit. But there certainly is likely to be a lag, which is why we emphasize the importance of looking for employment, because there certainly are job opportunities, perhaps in a different industry than what individuals are used to working for. And I guess I did fail to mention too, this is a message to employers as well. Keep in mind that unemployment benefit was not only to help the claimants who are unemployed get that replacement wage, it was also a help to employers that wanted to retain their talented employees. Employers, if you have employees that you can bring back, now is the time to bring those employees back, because that stability found in unemployment will no longer be available to them. So please, if you have that option, bring them back now so that they can find that stability in wages. Also, it's important to remember, if you are an employer that is bringing an employee back, and that employee is refusing that work, you can go to jobs.utah.gov/COVID-19. There is a resource for employers on employees returning to work. It is not okay for an individual to refuse work to stay on the unemployment benefit. If that is reported, what we will do is we will put a freeze on the unemployment benefit and adjudicate whether good cause exists. One thing that we will look at for good cause is individuals who are high risk to the coronavirus. We will certainly factor that in the decision of good cause. And we hope as an employer, you work with your employees that are high risk. But if there is not good cause, the claimant would lose that unemployment benefit and also, unfortunately, sever that relationship with that employer. So an individual cannot make the decision to stay on unemployment benefit and refuse work. The unemployment is only for those that are able and available and unemployed through no fault of their own. Refusing work makes them ineligible for that benefit. So the question is, what sectors continue to be hit the hardest? I think it is hospitality and events are certainly seeing a significant impact. But I also think there are some small businesses that are struggling. And so it is certainly not, the $600 going away is not recognizing that this pandemic is resolved. We are still in this pandemic. But what I am communicating is that the stability found in unemployment to help support individuals has expired. That federally funded benefit is going away this week. So there are certainly industries that are impacted, but we've also seen significant growth in other industries. And so if you are an employee that is hoping to return to an industry that does not appear to be able to recover quickly in this current pandemic, in this new normal, the option is to look for other industries, even if it's temporary, until they're able to return to economic stability in the industries that have struggled to recover from this pandemic.
This is from Deseret News. With weekly stimulus money scheduled to expire next week, what are your expectations for financial?
So the question is, with it expiring next week, what are the projections for financial distribution next week?
I think they're asking, how are you seeing that?
Okay. So the question is, what will happen next week with the change in the $600 a week stimulus benefit expiring July 25th? And again, remember, unemployment is week to week. So individuals that file a continued claim next week are reporting the wages that they earned and the jobs or their employment situation this week. So we will not see a significant reduction in the total number of benefits paid next week because individuals on continued claims will still get that $600 a week stimulus for one more week. We will see it beginning the first full week in August, as the continued claims and new claims will no longer be eligible for it. And what kind of change? It's about 60%. About 60% of the benefit that an individual receives is that $600 a week stimulus. So individuals are going to see a 60% reduction in their weekly unemployment benefit after that $600 a week stimulus expires.
Are there any, what
Okay, so the last question is, what resources are available for individuals who lose the $600 a week stimulus? And again, we do want to emphasize there are jobs available, over 25,000 jobs just at jobs.utah.gov and the virtual job fair. But are there other benefits available for individuals who continue to see unemployment or continue to have health risks? And the answer is yes. At jobs.utah.gov, there are applications for medical assistance, for SNAP or food assistance, for heat and weatherization, for rent assistance. And so unemployment insurance provided that stability in a single program. And what will have to happen now is that individuals that remain unemployed or continue to be at risk with the coronavirus remember, continue to receive the unemployment benefit at that reduced rate, but now we'll have to start looking for some support and stability in the other programs. Jobs.utah.gov is a single point for many programs, so start there and certainly look at the other programs that are available to provide some economic relief until you're able to return and re-engage into the workforce. Okay, and with that, we'll go ahead and end the briefing. Thank you.